My heart is beating so loud. Thank you. Wow. So I'm from India, and I got this crazy fellowship to travel the world for a year and discover myself, right? And I feel guilty almost having it. It's too crazy. And so I'm 11 months into this, and this is my last month. And before coming here, I was in India getting my visas, and before that, I was in Trinidad and Indonesia and South Africa. And it feels like I've just been spinning, right? Just like a Beyblades. Did we have Beyblades in this? Yeah. And so I haven't had the stillness to write, and so to get myself to kind of just journal, I've been trying to write rhymes so that it comes a little easier. And there's this thing that I want to try reading to you today, if you'll let me. I haven't read it out loud before, and it's an ongoing kind of stitching of the things that have been happening. And it's in rhyme, and I'm not confident enough to do it out of my memory, so I'm going to read it. And you can pretend this is a notebook, so I look a little sophisticated. And for this one, you really can close your eyes if you feel to, because I'll be staring at this. It's a little longer, so... And it takes place in different places. Oh, so scary. Okay. I have been home for 1 week, 3 joints, and 2 sunsets strong enough to pull me back to the memory of a place I have forgotten just enough to bear leaving it behind. Of a self I have peeled to make room for new skin, and a new stranger in a new town who will touch it into a tune within which I keep my reason and rhyme, a reminder of why this flesh of mine is worthy of a thing called love. Here, at home, the language of who I was beneath the South African sky is the line in a poem written by a boy I left behind in a Trinidadian night when the moon hung full as the belly of a child in a kitchen where a woman who is not my blood, but to me is womb, swayed against the stove to put the light back in my day. Where behind it, on the staircase outside, a gathering of friends like the gathering of grain, the sound of rain falling from the lip of a spliff we pass in circles to siphon out the pain we ask in poems, in touch, in gaze. The kind that meets you mid-moment and holds your hand inside your eyes, if only to say, I have been where you have been, walking through the darkness even in the days. When you do it enough, leaving becomes a kind of coming home. From 30,000 feet and a window seat, I watch entire cities, now a finger's inch apart, shrink into a huddle of lights at the mouth of a cigarette, between the fingers of a hand I have kissed time and time again, as though to tell time about itself. This girl I have curled and wept inside as the sun rose on Bali's black sand shores and a fisherman flung a prayer into the sea where 2 worlds touched without needing to know where the other had been. My 2 worlds touch through the space a memory finds when it rears its eyes into a starlit sky that drops its bright across a blackened night it doesn't belong to by name. And here I stay, driving in 3rd gear on a road I rode my school bus down, where the mangoes stacked like little suns line the streets. We climbed the walls to jump and pray what broke our falls wouldn't wake our mamas to the pain we pawned to make our way away. Perhaps I am saying, sometimes I am human and sometimes I am free. On nights like these, the highway spools beneath my feet. The street lights blur to brushstroke in the wind of where I'm going despite the sight of where I've been, and the radio spills the slender smoke of yesterday in the broken note of a song I first heard in the back seat of a stranger's jeep on an island I cannot reach from so many selves away. Now, in this Berlin summer, the days pass through me like people. They pass on their pretty bikes with their blonde hair and their pity smiles, and I am alone as my father sometimes. I'm alone at the restaurants, alone on the subway, alone at the crossing, alone as the light turns green as a bone of grass. I'm learning the grass is always greener when I smoke it. I'm spinning on sound. Sleep slips and drips into day. The morning is a memory of me. I'm stained sunlight and bad at forgetting and bad too. No one in this city knows where my hands have been. This city, on some nights, is just fingers and flesh. Mistakes and moonshine powdered to white and taken as breath. We are writhing here, leaving without arriving. The beat drops without rising, and I ride my bike to the closest bar in a lonely hour to let the wind in my heart. The writing on the bathroom wall reads, "Fags must die." We must. Or what is all this heaven worth? I still love her like I loved her, and isn't that the world? On some days, all I need of this world is a lake painted blue in noontide. Naomi drinking sun on the sand while I swim bare-breasted for the first time and freedom makes a garment out of me. On some days, all I ask of this world is a language emptied of blades, a voice that is my own, a body that is my smaller home, and a mirror made entirely of my lover's eyes. On some lucky mornings, my lover's eyes are the first light I see. Her hands in my hands, a prayer bead. Her hands in my mouth, in the space where there is no more space for shame. Her hands like two birds at the window of a thought, pulling the melody out of me. I say, Lord, let me break like bread and be the table at which everyone I love can gather to say grace. I say, Lord, let me be the wings to each prayer let loose from their holy lips. I say, Lord, time is passing me by like a blurred sidewalk from a speeding car, and I've been craning my neck, wondering what's real and what's mirage. I say, Lord, there are strangers I know by hearts now, roads I know by songs. Each day ushers me towards the next, and for this I am blessed to welcome the crack of morning, to make it out my mind, to be so unknown, yet somehow loved, to be dropped like a pin, as Johnny says, but held like blood. To be daughtered and sistered and hear their engine revving away only once I am safely inside. I want to tell you about the places we make of people, the questions we make of questions. I watched the sunrise the other day, and just like that, a beginning. Thank you.